Welcome to Liverpool fans. Today we've got the latest updates of your beloved club Liverpool. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of breaking news. Let's get started. Liverpool have sent shockwaves through European football by completing the signing of highly rated French centre-back Jeremy Jacquet from Stade Rennais in a deal worth an astonishing £70 million. The agreement, finalised after weeks of intense negotiations, represents one of the most decisive and ambitious defensive investments in the club's modern history. At just 19 years of age, Jacquet is set to become a Red in June, remaining with Rennes for the rest of the season before arriving at Anfield ahead of the 2026-27 campaign. This is not a rushed reaction to short-term problems, but a carefully planned move that reflects Liverpool's long-term vision under head coach Arne Slot. From the earliest stages of the season, Liverpool's recruitment department identified Jacquet as a transformational talent. Scouts tracked him relentlessly across League One, domestic cup competitions, and youth international tournaments, consistently reporting elite-level attributes rarely seen in a defender so young. His calmness in possession, authority in the air, tactical awareness, and mental maturity convinced Liverpool that he was not simply a prospect, but a future defensive leader capable of anchoring the back line for the next decade. Negotiations with Rennes were difficult and prolonged. The French club understood the value of their academy jewel and initially demanded close to £80 million. Rennes were under no pressure to sell, fully aware that Europe's biggest clubs were monitoring Jacquet's development closely. Liverpool, however, remained patient and precise, presenting a structured offer built on guaranteed fees and performance-related add-ons. Eventually, both clubs reached full agreement at £70 million, a figure that underlines Liverpool's belief in Jacquet's extraordinary potential. Jeremy Jacquet's rise has been nothing short of remarkable. Developed through Rennes' renowned academy, he quickly established himself as the most commanding and consistent centre-back in French football. Tall, powerful, and technically polished, Jacquet blends traditional defensive toughness with the modern demands of ball-playing football. He is comfortable defending deep, holding a high line, or stepping into midfield to progress play. His ability to read danger early and neutralise elite attackers has made him stand out in a league famous for producing world-class defenders. Despite his age, Jacquet has already displayed leadership qualities beyond expectation. He has frequently organised Rennes' defensive structure, maintained composure in high-pressure matches, and delivered dominant performances against top opposition. Analysts across France have widely regarded him as the best centre-back in League One this season, not because of hype, but because of relentless consistency, authority, and control. His reputation as France's #1 defensive performer has grown week by week, making Liverpool's decisive move all the more significant. For Liverpool, the logic behind this signing is crystal clear. The Premier League's intensity demands defenders who are physically resilient, tactically intelligent, and technically secure under pressure. Arne Slot's system places enormous responsibility on centre-backs to initiate attacks, recover quickly in transitions, and defend large spaces behind a high line. Jacquet's pace, positioning, and passing range make him an ideal fit. His arrival strengthens rotation, increases competition, and allows Liverpool to plan the gradual transition of senior defenders without compromising performance levels. Personal terms were never an obstacle. Jacquet agreed to a long-term contract believed to span at least 5 years, reflecting his status as a cornerstone of Liverpool's future. Sources close to the player reveal that he was deeply impressed by Liverpool's sporting project, the club's history of developing young stars, and the opportunity to work under Slot. Playing at Anfield, competing in the Premier League, and challenging for the biggest trophies proved decisive, even in the face of strong interest from Spain, Germany, and Italy. From Rennes' perspective, the deal represents both loss and pride. It is a record-breaking sale that highlights the excellence of their academy and development model. While Jacquet's departure is a sporting blow, the club felt the timing and financial package were right. Allowing him to remain for the remainder of the season ensures stability as Rennes push for European qualification, while preparing for life after their defensive leader. As June approaches, anticipation among Liverpool supporters is already building. Jacquet will join pre-season with expectations carefully managed, Yet belief inside the club is strong that he could challenge for a starting role sooner than expected. This signing is not just about depth or potential. It is a statement. Liverpool believe they have secured not only a future leader, but the best centre-back currently playing in French football, ready to take the next step on the biggest. Liverpool Football Club have entered a period of renewed turmoil after confirming the dismissal of head coach Arne Slot in the immediate aftermath of a damaging 3-2 defeat to Bournemouth, a result that proved decisive for Fenway Sports Group. The decision, taken moments after the final whistle, brought an abrupt end to Slot's short and turbulent tenure at Anfield and underlined the ruthlessness of a club unwilling to tolerate further drift at a critical stage of the season. The defeat on the South Coast was not viewed internally as a routine setback, but as a moment that crystallised deeper concerns. Liverpool arrived at the Vitality Stadium under heavy pressure, with expectations still high but belief increasingly fragile. Despite taking an early lead, the performance quickly unravelled. Bournemouth played with hunger, intensity and clarity, repeatedly exploiting Liverpool's lack of defensive cohesion and uncertainty in midfield. Poor pressing structure, slow reactions in transition and recurring positional errors allowed the hosts back into the contest, and by the time Bournemouth struck a third goal, the sense of inevitability was unmistakable. Although Liverpool rallied late and reduced the deficit, the comeback attempt only highlighted a pattern that had become familiar under Slot. A team reacting to problems rather than controlling matches from the outset. When the final whistle confirmed the 3-2 defeat, it was clear to many inside and outside the club that the consequences would extend far beyond the loss of 3 points. The embarrassment of being outworked and outmanoeuvred by a side playing with freedom and confidence echoed loudly across Merseyside. According to sources close to the club, FSG had already convened an emergency meeting before the match had even concluded. The owners had been closely monitoring performances over recent weeks, and the Bournemouth defeat merely confirmed their belief that the underlying issues were no longer fixable under the current leadership. Within hours, Slot was informed of his dismissal. There was no attempt to delay the decision or manage the narrative through extended briefings. The message from ownership was blunt and decisive. Liverpool could not afford further regression. A brief club statement followed, confirming that Slot had been relieved of his duties with immediate effect and thanking him for his professionalism during his time at Anfield. Behind the scenes, however, the verdict was clear. While Slot arrived with a reputation as a progressive, attack-minded coach, admired for his work in the Netherlands, the transition to the Premier League proved far more challenging than anticipated. Tactical adaptability emerged as a persistent concern. Liverpool's high defensive line was often exposed, midfield control fluctuated wildly from game to game, and adjustments to injuries and form rarely produced sustained improvement. Inconsistency became the defining feature of Slot's reign. Promising performances were too often followed by inexplicable collapses, leaving Liverpool unable to build momentum across competitions. Defensive vulnerabilities recurred with alarming regularity, particularly late in matches and during transitions, while the attacking play, though occasionally vibrant, lacked reliability. Internally, there was growing concern that the squad no longer had a clear, repeatable identity. Perhaps most damaging was the belief that Slot had begun to lose the dressing room. Body language on the pitch increasingly suggested confusion and frustration, with senior players appearing disconnected from tactical instructions and younger players struggling without clear guidance. Supporters, who had initially shown patience in recognition of a managerial transition, reached breaking point after the Bournemouth defeat. Calls for change flooded social media within minutes, and the demand for decisive action became impossible to ignore. With Slot dismissed, Liverpool moved swiftly to the next phase of their plan. Fenway Sports Group identified Xabi Alonso as their priority target and acted with remarkable speed. Following his recent exit from Real Madrid after a run of inconsistent results and mounting internal pressure, Alonso was immediately approached. Negotiations progressed rapidly, and a full agreement has now been reached, with an official announcement expected within days. For Liverpool supporters, the impending appointment carries deep symbolic weight. Alonso is not merely a managerial choice, but a figure woven into the club's modern history, A former midfielder renowned for intelligence, composure and leadership, he is seen by the ownership as someone who instinctively understands Liverpool's identity. FSG believe that connection gives him a unique platform to restore direction and belief. Alonso is expected to implement a high-intensity, possession-based system built on tactical discipline, midfield control and defensive balance.